Hello chess lovers, Suren here, and in this video I would like to share with you a fantastic game played by German chess player and problem composer Max Lange. His opponent is a chess player named Schierstedt, and this game was played in 1856 in Breslau. Without further ado, let's go for the game and see what happened on the board. Max Lange opened up with e4 and e5 by Schierstedt, knight c3. We have the Vienna game, and after knight c6 we have the delayed king's gambit. f4 is on the board. E takes f4, knight f3 and g5. The g-pawn is coming to strengthen the pawn on f4 and also at some point can harass white knight by marching forward. Bishop c4. In return we have g4 and Max Lange castled kingside. He's sacrificing the knight on f3. All this looks very similar to Muzio Gambit. G takes f3 is on the board. Black accepted the sacrifice, and instead of recapturing, Max Lange played d4, an interesting alternative to the traditional queen takes f3 move, after which black pawn also stepped forward and captured the pawn on g2 as well, which turns out to be a total blunder. Instead of f takes g2, d6 could have been better. If queen takes f3, then queen f6. And if e5, then d takes e5. If d takes e5, then knight takes e5. Although black has an advantage, but this is a double-edged position and black has to make precise moves, otherwise can get crushed. But in our game after d4 we have f takes g2, and in return Max Lange played bishop takes f7 check. Look at this. This is like going for a double Muzio Gambit, but black pawn is on g2. There are also some developed pieces, which makes a lot of sense. Let's see what's going to happen next. King takes f7, and here it goes. Queen h5 check, king g7, rook takes f4. Right now there is a direct mating threat. Knight h6 and bishop e3. This is a mistake. Instead of bishop e3, it was better to play rook h4 and open up the bishop's diagonal. Now if king g8, then bishop g5 is coming, and according to the engine the best move is knight f7, but after bishop takes d8, knight takes d8, the game is simply over. White is winning. Or after bishop g5, if you try to save your queen by playing bishop e7, then white can simply win the knight on h6, and you can't even touch this rook because you can get checkmated on the spot. Actually, after playing rook h4, black could have already resigned, but in our game after knight h6 we have bishop e3, which allows black to prolong his resistance, and black even manages to gain advantage and can fight back. Let's see what happened next. d6 by Max Lange, knight e2, queen e7, king takes g2, bishop e6. Instead of bishop e6, playing rook g8 and freeing this h8 square for the king could have been better, but in our game we have bishop e6, rook f1. Of course, white could go for d5, although after knight e5, d takes e6, rook g8, still black has an advantage. In our game, as I've already mentioned, Max Lange proceeded with rook f1. Bishop f7, which is a total blunder. Still, it was not too late to go for rook g8 and then move the king on a safer square, but as you have already noticed, black has totally overlooked this defensive resource, and in our game we have bishop f7. Here Max Lange went for a very sound queen takes h6 sacrifice, but this is not the best continuation. The winning move was rook takes f7, and if knight takes f7, then queen g4 check. If knight g5, then bishop takes g5. Black's position is totally lost. In our game after bishop f7 we have queen takes h6, and in here by playing king g8, black could have managed to defend successfully. This is going to be an equal battle, but in our game we have king takes h6, after which the king finds himself in a mating net. Here comes rook g4 discover check, king h5 and knight g3 check. Not the best continuation, this is even losing. There was a mate in 3 which Max Lange overlooked. Can you find that mating line? Ready? Actually, rook f5 check was winning on the spot. If king takes g4, then h3 check, and then bishop f2 checkmate. But in our game we have knight g3 check. White is also sacrificing the rook, and rook f5. And in return to this bad idea, black played h6. A totally illogical move which I can't understand. Instead of h6, queen takes e4 looks very strong. If knight takes e4, then king takes f5. White is totally lost, could have already resigned, but in our game we have h6, which allows white to mate in 3. Please pause the video and try to find the mating line. Ready? Here Max Lange played h3 check, and after king h4 he sacrificed his rook. Yes guys, he sacrificed his rook in order to free the f5 square for the knight. Bishop takes h5 is forced, after which we have a brutal checkmate on the board. Look at this magnificent position, guys. Yes, I have to mention again that there were a lot of inaccuracies by both sides. But of course, on the other hand, judging the players armed with a supercomputer is easy. This was simply an astounding game, although I have to mention that queen takes e4 defensive resource caught my eye instantly. I mean, after rook f5 instead of playing h6, this queen takes e4 was really very easy to find. But we have h6, after which Max Lange brought into life this brutal combination, and we have a checkmate on the board. Thanks for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this magnificent checkmate. For more games, consider subscribing to my channel. I will see you in my next video.